Hey folks, it's Brian. We just got done playing RQG, and it has been a horrendous week for me. Um, I was actually in Maryland earlier today. We went to the Highland Festival. Highland Festival? Yeah, Scottish Highland Festivals. Well, anyway, um, 99 degrees outside, so it wasn't too fun, but got to see some Scottish sword dancing, which I wanted to see. And of course, we saw the tabor toss and heard some fiddlers and listened to Scotland's greatest tribal drum and pipe band. They were pretty cool. What else we see? I heard lots of piping. There was a bunch of people selling stuff there. Got to visit some of the clan stations, including Clan McLaren, which I'm adopted into from having done Wood Badge with the Boy Scouts. So it was cool to talk with them. I got a little fox pin. Also found out something interesting, but that's not for this channel. Um, anyway, so we were up there and driving through horrendous traffic southbound on a Saturday afternoon. No idea what's going on. So I got home 6:30, 7 o'clock maybe, and there was stuff that I had to finish prepping for my game tonight. So I'm running with my head cut off, trying to get stuff done, and I didn't have the right stuff because I'm reading through prep going, okay, now this is a group of guys, this is what's going on here. Wait a minute, these guys aren't doing this. What are these guys doing? And so I had the wrong group of guys, had to adjust them at the last minute. And it was a mess. And I actually got onto Discord at like 8:35, and most of everybody else was already there because we started at 8:30, and I'm usually on there like at 8, checking up audio, checking the connections, and all that fun stuff. But anyway, we got to play, and it's in the live plays in the description if you want to listen to that kind of stuff. So it's only 2.5 hours because we ended up starting late, and then there's a lot of discussion up front about other stuff. In fact, we had one of my players who had missed the last session doing his 2 end of season phases to catch him up and that kind of stuff. So we were able to get that all finished, and that's not recorded. Didn't worry about that. And then there's a few spots through the session where they ask a question, and I don't want to just give an off the cuff answer. I want to have a sophisticated wild ass guess, right? So, how's it going to take us to the top of no, top? That's not what it's called. Shoot, the mountain there. And let me check. Get distance, rough hours. Okay, storm season still. So, and you're going cross country on foot. Yeah, it'll take you the better part of a day to get up there, kind of stuff. So, then they wanted, hey, we're at Runegate, and they want to have the Lord of Runegate, who they've helped out and who's helped out them, kind of. Hey, can we get a pack mule and some supplies and a couple of guards to have a camp? And they were not able to sell that. However, as they continued to try to sell it, they did convince his daughter to say, hey, guys, I can help you out. Leave that alone. And so they got a mule and gear and a couple of guards to guard this camp while they go and do their thing. So, no real skin off my back, but that's a lot of extra assets that they may have access to that they probably should, kind of thing. But anyway, they make it to the top. They camp for the night. Next morning, they go down looking. Okay, so here's the mountain. Here's the road. Lots of banditry going on here. Where would be a good spot to do? Let's make our battle rolls. And right about here should be a pretty decent spot to be able to see the whole road most of the way, assuming you get a view. And so they start, checking down there. And then Miriam remembers she's got the owl. So the owl's flying around. Sure enough, the owl finds an open spot. Well, there's a camp with, these guys wearing these sea green cloaks. And that was one of the signs of some of the banditry that they've had going around. So they're kind of, this must be the guys. Let's check them out. Well, what's the best way to attack this situation? And they all make some battle rolls, and a couple of them made it. But nobody has any stealth skills. So it's not like they're tromping through the forest to get down there. They're trying to be quiet, but nobody's gonna make a sneak roll. Nobody's gonna make any hide rolls, kind of thing. Move quietly and hide, kind of stuff. But they come down to the side and come in from the edge, kind of deal. Get to a certain distance where they can get eyes on the camp. What can we see? And at the same time, they're making opposed rolls to see if the guys in the camp actually hear something, and they do. So the guys in camp are doing their own thing. So when they get eyes on the camp, what do they see two guys by, the fire's got a block built up around it. And there's a couple of guys sitting on logs. And there's these tents and some crates and stuff like the bird had told them. But they only see two guys. And two of the bad guys crit their hide rolls. So there are a couple of archers that are stealthed out there. And the other guys are hiding out in the tents, waiting for the party to attack, right? So the party buffs up with spells, and they lob a couple of slings, a handful of arrow shots, and then charge on in. So I got 2 rounds. It takes about 2 rounds for the party to get to the camp, where the hidden archers are shooting out. Make a couple of hits, nothing bad to anybody. And most of them getting into shields. Then the party comes on to the map board, and if you watch the live play, you'll see where I swap from a couple different pictures of the area maps to the actual board and drawn out the tactical situation. And then Miriam sends her fetch out, and the fetch moves much faster than everybody else. So it got there a round earlier, and the fetch can see it's within range to see everybody's power, and everybody's plus or minus 5 of the fetches, and so, but she can see the 2 hidden archers who attacks one of them. Spirit combat. So we got spirit combat, and there's some discussion later on about, does this make sense? Because it came up where Miriam's player asked if the opposing character, the NPC, can do anything besides fight back. And you can disengage. And so we read through the paragraphs on disengagement, and actually I think to everybody's surprise, if a corporeal being decides to disengage and either successfully makes a spirit dance or successfully makes the opposed spirit combat roll, they can disengage, which then ends the combat. That's what it is. It ends the combat. Spirits go back to spirit plane. Period. That's the second sentence. So by disengaging, you force the spirit back into the spirit plane. Now, for most spirits, that's not an issue because they just manifest back. But for a fetch who needs to have the visibility spell cast on it to bring it back, that's an added complication. It just seems kind of odd that if I disengage, I'm forcing you back. But all it really does is buy a corporeal being a couple of rounds to do other things or to set up or whatever, Because if you try to run, spirit's much faster than you are. And I think that's where they came up with this thing about forcing it to, because otherwise you could never disengage from a spirit. It was just me. Okay, you disengage, you move so far, it's moving 3 times as fast as you are. Or twice as fast. So it catches you. So, I can kind of see the mechanics behind that. There's no real justification for it. And that was with throwing one of my players going, it didn't make any sense to him about, why the rules are written that way. But, it is what it is. So the party comes in. The rest of the bad guys come out. So there's a couple of mass combats going on. At this point, it's getting late. So we only run through like 1 round, maybe 2 rounds of combat. But when they were shooting and throwing slings and casting befuddle and disruption from the distance, it took one of the bad guys down. One of the bandits down. The other bandit, Juchi, got one more shot in before everybody kind of gets into melee, special to the leg, puts him down on one leg. I didn't realize it at that point. It was later on I realized that if he takes damage, he's going to give up. And so he goes ahead and falls to the ground and covers himself up with his shield. Arestra's there, is moving up to attack him. He's falling down. Damon's falling up as well. And two other guys come in from other sides. Arestra turns to attack the guy coming towards her, who will attack her, but misses because she got a critical parry. There's a little discussion there about if I turn to attack... Okay, he goes down on strike rank 2. Strike rank 7, I can change my intent. Oh, she may not have gone as far. That's what we should have done. We should have backed up 2 hexes because she had 4 hexes of movement. So she's moving towards him. He goes down and covers up. So the guy's coming out of the tent, and they could have met up earlier. So I probably should have let her... Well, next time we'll think about that to let her attack, because she would have missed attacking at the end of the round by a couple strike ranks, because change of statement of intent plus strike rank, right? And David actually did that sort of thing, because he would have been up behind Arestra, or beside Arestra, when this guy comes beside him, would have had a side attack on a flanking attack. So as he's talking this thing, if I'm coming forward as he's coming out, I'm going to start shorter, they just meet, and so they got face-to-face kind of combat going on. And nothing really happened with that one. The captain comes out. Oh, there was a strike rank 1 rune spells going off. 1, 2, 3 it looks like. For the bad guys. But through the rest of the combat, nothing really happened. He got hit in the leg, went down, covered up. Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. My throat is all dry again. But we got spirit combat going on. Tied the first round. Second round, the guy got a special, and the fetch got a regular, so the special won. Did 3 points of magic point damage to the fetch. And then there's some more attacks and parries going on with Jarstakos and one of the bad guys. So not a lot of combat going on. A lot of talk and prep kind of stuff happening. And then that's where we finished up. Because one of my players was reaching the end of his limit, which is reasonable. And so we just finished up that combat round. 3 of the bad guys got to attack in strike ranks 10, 11, and 12. But, either not successful or were parried. So nothing really happened. But it's kind of interesting. I've got 2 different modules that I'm pulling material from for this chapter of the game. And while they're similar and there's relationships, there are some very significant differences. And that's where I was getting confused, thinking these guys were like this, when in fact these guys are like that. So it got confusing. But for me, it's been a lot of fun trying to pull this stuff together, making some of this conversion stuff happen, and get things updated. That's all we had for tonight. Happy gaming.